Okay, in this example, let's stick with this menu button right here, and we're going to do pressure and density altitude calculations using this Electronic E6B. So select that. We want to press the arrow down until it flashes on the PD altitude. And we hit enter. The first thing it's going to ask is IALT. Now that's indicated altitude, or that will likely be like your elevation or your indicated altitude. Usually you want to calculate a pressure altitude with your elevation, but you might also want to calculate a pressure altitude and density altitude with your indicated altitude when you're flying. So let's do a indicated altitude of 2300. Let's say we're taking off from an airport, a runway at 2300 elevation. So that's our indicated altitude. Then we hit enter. Now it wants the baro. So that's the pressure setting in inches of mercury at our location. So we get a METAR, or we call up the weather briefer, and we get that baro reading. And it's going to be, let's say it's 30.14 inches of mercury. Then we enter that, and now it wants T degrees C. So that's temperature in Celsius. Let's say it's a hot day up at 2300. It's 26 degrees Celsius. So let's hit enter there. And now it's going to give us a number here and a number down here. Up here it says P altitude, that's our pressure altitude. So that we have corrected 2300 indicated altitude for our non-standard pressure. Remember, standard is 29.92. So that's about almost 0.2 inches of mercury higher pressure. So that's going to decrease it's going to make us have a lower pressure altitude of 2,097 feet. And then our density altitude, look at that, it's almost 1,800 feet higher because of the temperature of 26 degrees. 26 degrees at an altitude of 2,000 feet is a lot higher than standard. So that's why we have a higher density altitude. So there you go, density altitude 3,820 feet because of the high temperature. And then we have a little bit low pressure altitude because of that higher pressure. So that's how you find pressure altitude and density altitude.